Imagine this for a second. A world leader, snatched from their own capital city in the middle of the night, vanishing into thin air. It sounds like something out of a spy movie, right? Well, today we're going to break down a masterclass in military deception and absolute precision, a hypothetical scenario called Operation Southern Spear.
And really, the whole thing comes down to this one single question. How in the world do you pull off a mission like that, capturing a high-value target when literally everyone is watching your every move?
Well, the answer came in the dark. At 2 a.m., boom, a total communications blackout hits Caracas. The city goes silent. An hour later, you get reports of explosions at key military bases. By the time the sun comes up, the president of Venezuela is just gone. This wasn't a war. It was like a ghost operation. It was over before the rest of the world even knew it had started.
So how do you even begin to pull something that audacious off? Well, the secret is in months and months of careful prep work. Let's peel back the curtain on what the source material here calls the grand deception. And it all started by setting the stage out at sea.
You see, for months, this huge U.S. naval force was just sitting off the coast. The official story? They were enforcing a counter-narcotics quarantine. On paper, it was all about chasing drug lords. But, you just had to look at the sheer size of the force to know something much, much bigger was going on. And this is where you can really see the sleight of hand. The official story was a simple anti-drug mission. But the actual hardware they brought to the party? That tells a totally different story. We're talking a full carrier strike group. That's an aircraft carrier with its entire fleet of warships. An amphibious ready group, plus 8 destroyers. This wasn't a police operation, folks. This was a force big enough to invade a small country, and it was all just hiding in plain sight.
And the real key to this whole diversion? 150 aircraft. Their job wasn't really to fight, it was to create a massive wall of noise and electronic confusion. It was a giant distraction designed to pull every eye and every radar away from what was really about to happen on the ground.
Okay, so with the stage perfectly set and the distraction in full swing, it's time for the main event. Operation Southern Spear, the surgical strike itself.
And when you have a mission that absolutely cannot fail, who do you call? You call in Delta Force. These are the U.S. Army's elite Tier 1 operators. They are the ones who handle the most insane, most classified, and most dangerous missions you can possibly imagine.
The raid itself was just a masterpiece of timing, and it played out in 4 clean steps. First, they punch a hole in the defenses. Second, they use the chaos that creates as their cover. Third, they breach the target. And finally, the quick, surgical extraction. So, you might be wondering, how did they move so confidently deep inside enemy territory? Well, the source material points to 2 huge advantages: a CIA asset on the inside and, get this, a full-scale replica of the target building. They built their own practice arena so they could rehearse the raid over and over until it was pure muscle memory. And when it was go time, the execution was just flawless. Attack helicopters provided cover while the operators went in, using blowtorches and flash grenades to breach the safe house and completely disorient the guards. President Maduro and his wife were secured without a single shot fired. There was no talking, no negotiation. They were just grabbed and moved immediately, extracted by specialized helicopters that could refuel in midair and just vanish into the night.
But here's the thing. None of this, not the deception, not the raid, would have been even remotely possible without owning the sky. And that brings us to the real technological hero of this whole operation, the F-35. We're going to look at why its stealth wasn't just helpful, it was completely non-negotiable.
And it's a totally fair question to ask. Why not just use the F-16 Fighting Falcon? It's a proven workhorse, a really capable jet. Why spend all that money on the newer, way more expensive F-35?
Well, the answer is what they were flying into. Venezuela had built this incredibly dense anti-air shield. We're talking a nasty mix of advanced Russian S-300 missile systems, Chinese radar networks, and even Iranian drones. The whole thing was designed to make that airspace a death trap for any normal aircraft.
And this is where the F-35 just leaves everything else in the dust. An F-16 flying into that kind of environment, it's basically a sitting duck. It would light up every radar screen for miles. But the F-35, with its incredible stealth, its networked sensors, and its built-in electronic warfare suite, it was basically designed to be a ghost in the machine, able to slip through the most dangerous airspace on the planet like it wasn't even there.
Okay, but what about Venezuela's own air force? Could they have put up a fight? Well, their fleet was pretty small, about 21 Russian Su-30s and just a few really old F-16s. And while those Su-30s are definitely capable jets, they were just completely outmatched both technologically and numerically. It wouldn't have been a fair fight.
So at the end of the day, the F-35 wasn't just another plane in the sky. It was the key that unlocked this entire mission. Its stealth let it ghost past enemy radar. Its sensors gave the pilots a godlike view of the entire battlefield, and its electronic warfare systems could blind and deafen the enemy's defenses. It was, without a doubt, the ultimate game changer.
And all of this really leads us to a much bigger, kind of heavy question. When operations like this are possible, when technology and planning reach this level, what does it even mean for a nation to be truly secure anymore? It's definitely something to think about.